As some of you may know, I recently sold the Dell R330. It's a one-use server that is now gone from my Homelab. And I wouldn't say I'm necessarily replacing it, but it's temporary replacement and or potentially long-term replacement for that matter is this Dell 7820. It's got a Xeon 4114 in it, 32 gigs of ECC RAM, and that's really it. It's nothing too special hardware-wise. This is a Dell product, obviously, and the biggest reason why we're moving from the 1U to this is because no matter what, even silencing the Dell PowerEdge, doing the IPMI tricks, like that does work, but it was still too loud. And this workstation has pretty much all of the same features, I guess, as the server minus IPMI or iDRAC. But the benefit of having a workstation over that 1U server is that, well, it's 4U, and because of its massive size, it has much bigger fans, and it will actually operate much more silently. Yeah, it'll operate much more silently. So now when it's running like overnight or maybe a few days, whatever it may be, I don't have to sit there and hear that just slight hum and whine of the 1U fans that are in the old R330. This thing should be perfectly silent behind closed doors. So that's pretty much the biggest driver of why we're going to be using this for future videos and also as a future test box, because it is easy to work with. And part of that ease is, well, the door is easily removable. No more of that weird like pull mechanism. I don't know. Actually, the other one was easy, but it was just kind of a pain in the butt. That hit my shin. It was kind of a pain in the butt, especially when you had it racked. This will be racked as well. I think I may put it up on the shelf. I haven't really decided where I want it. It's not going to be on 24/7, but I would like it to be more easily or more readily accessible so I can have access to the internals for when I want to do tests like with the PC 611 or whatever it may be, so I can just quickly put it in here, do whatever tests I want, and then we're off to the races. Now, what kind of hardware are we going to be running in here? Well, most of it you've seen before. From the Dell R330, we'll be carrying over the X540T2. So this is a 10 gigabit Ethernet NIC that we'll be putting in here. We will also be carrying over the Seagate laptop drives. These are 7,200 RPM, I think 256 megabyte cache as well. Only 1 terabyte. But hopefully with Black Friday we'll replace these with something else. I may also dual purpose this as like a backup server. Well, I'll just do backups every now and again because I actually don't have a local backup server, which is kind of dangerous. But we'll be using those drives temporarily nonetheless, just for testing purposes, of course. And what's really cool about this system is that it does support bifurcation, which is really important. And it also comes with this, I don't know the model number of this thing, but it comes with essentially an NVMe adapter. So you have a PCI by 16 card that can be split into four lanes. And of course, the motherboard and CPU will see each of these individually, which is really cool. So that's something we'll have to figure out how to do with this system too, so we can actually use bifurcation. These NVMe drives you have seen before. They were actually for sale on spxlabs.com/shop, but I have pulled those down from there because I think I'm gonna just keep them and keep using them, especially for this test server. I think it'd be really cool to have that like awesome speed. And honestly, I'm kind of thinking in the long term, I may switch from the 3700X over to the 4114 Xeon that's in here. But we'll see what happens and how that goes. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but for now, testing. Now, other cool things about this is that it can support graphics drives. So we have PCIe power, or I guess whatever power graphics cards use. So we have 2 connectors here for one of those. It has a 950 watt power supply, so we could stick like a Titan X in here, or eventually the Quadro P2000 that I'm temporarily holding on to. And that can all reside in here. We could power those so we can do other tests with graphics cards. And it's got plenty of PCIe lanes, so that's one advantage of this Xeon. I think it has 48 PCIe lanes, so we can do a lot with that. And I think that's really all. Yeah, it's missing iDRAC, which I think I already mentioned, which is kind of a bummer. There's no iGPU with this Xeon, so I don't need a dedicated graphics, but there are going to be certain cases where I will want a dedicated graphics. And this system comes with a Radeon Pro WX 2100, which you've probably actually seen on the wall in previous videos. I don't think I'll ever use this for anything, maybe just to get into the BIOS from time to time since there is no remote access currently. And also a sweet feature of this is it has an onboard USB 3.0. I don't know, either 3 or 2.0, I don't recall. But we have Unraid already installed on the USB, and we'll be using this for Unraid for the most part. And yeah, I don't know. So I guess the last point I want to make is, I said that this was like the R330, and the reason why is this thing actually supports 4 hard drives in the front here that are hot swappable, which is really cool. So right now we have 2.5-inch drives, but as you may be able to see, you can do 3.5-inch drives, which is pretty sweet. I don't think I really need that much storage, and if I really did need storage, I would just go shuck some WD external 14 terabyte hard drives or pick up the Seagate Exos enterprise drives. Those are like 14 terabytes, and those go on sale pretty often, and I think they're around like $270 right now. They do go lower in price, but anyway, so there are options there if we really wanted to use this for storage or as a backup in the future. Has a CD drive. We're probably never going to use it. Probably going to end up replacing it with like an SSD and maybe do like a separate cache pool or something for future tests of SSDs. And as you can tell, we have lots of options with this board, and I think we can also do expand this for additional graphics. I think there is more power for that too. So it's super flexible, and right out of the box, it can already do much more than the R330, especially with graphics. The R330, I was pretty much limited to using single slot GPUs, which I have. I have a P600 that we've used tons of times in the past, but now I can, use dual, triple, or whatever it is, slot graphics cards for all sorts of tests. So I'm pretty excited about this thing, and I can't wait to show. Maybe not really show you guys videos with it, but we'll be using this for future videos and doing things with it. And I think one of the first ones we'll be doing a NVIDIA encode locally on the gaming computer, and then a virtual machine encoding job like through OBS, and then also through a container, just to kind of give us an idea of how those compare and contrast. So I think that'll be the first video we actually see using this thing. Because I actually need to load it up. I'm looking over here on my schedule, or my list of ideas really, and that will be the first video. So that's the 7820. I'm gonna get this thing configured to bifurcate. I may write a blog post on how to do that. So if anyone's interested on how to get that done, I'll do that. So. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time. Peace.